herO, Nightmare, RagnaroK, ByuN. Africa TV, Freak Up Studio, live, 2023, GSL Season 2.
Welcome back to the GSL. RagnaroK versus herO is coming up next. We've had ByuN escape and survive into the round of 8.
And now one between RagnaroK and herO will be eliminated today out of Group B. Not what I expected to see in the elimination match, to be frank, because this could very well be the final match of the group. Instead, one of these guys going to move on to play Nightmare. Might be herO with a rematch, might be RagnaroK in another ZVP.
Yeah, now, the herO games, they weren't bad. PvP is like a funny matchup. Like, there's so many different situations that can manifest that are like hyper-specific, and you really have to know the ins and outs. I do think that herO has proven at times to be one of the best PvZers in the whole world.
Oh, for sure.
And on top of that, I think RagnaroK, he does appear to be a bit more atrophied in this season. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I think he just lost a little bit of momentum perhaps after missing Codes in the previous season, right? So we'll see if he's able to start to get the ball rolling, get some momentum back. RagnaroK versus herO here, the elimination match.
Mystery Gaming, RagnaroK. DKZ Gaming, herO.
herO looking a little uneasy today.
I mean, he is in the elimination match already, right? And after a performance that certainly didn't meet his own personal expectations in Season 1, the pressure has to be on.
Yeah, well, it's funny too, because he finished his military service and looked so good. Like, he came right out, and it's like, that does not happen very often. Usually people
Almost never.
Almost never, yeah. People come back from the military service, and they're very rusty, and they have very bumpy games. Sometimes they literally do look like they haven't played the game in like 2 years. Like, they're playing like an older meta.
There's no Forge,
no
by the way.
Forge,
You
sorry.
can keep going.
I was like, uh-oh, stop talking tasteless. We got to rush. But yeah, and that was not the case with herO. And I think rightfully so. Everybody looked at that and went, oh my God, this guy might just go all the way to the top. And then he did. So what's weird now is that we're here in 2023, and he does seem to now have all that kind of weird shakiness suddenly manifesting.
The odd thing is, too, his online performances have been so good
Yeah.
as of late as well. He was on some insane winning streaks recently in online matches, even leading up here to the GSL. So you got to think that maybe the pressure is getting to him a little bit after that poor performance in Codes Season 1. But as of yet, he still only has played 2 games, right? So let's give him that.
Sure.
And they're PvPs as well. It's probably a matchup he hasn't practiced very much because usually Protoss players die.
Yes.
But just to be real, I think that herO absolutely still has the potential. He's definitely, if not the best Protoss player in the world, then top 3 Protoss players in the world, regardless of the results from Season 1 and so far here in Season 2. I have no question in my mind about that, just given his performance online and his history over the past year as opposed to the past couple of months. But I would love to see him get back on the train here. Group B, go advance on from this one. I mean, I don't want to show too much favoritism because also RagnaroK, he was a GSL finalist.
Yeah,
He got
I mean,
second
he's
place.
had an incredible story.
Yeah, he had a huge build-up. It felt like every single season he was doing better last year after, being one of these strong Zergs in Korea that wasn't really able to make a breakthrough in GSL before that.
Yeah.
And then, there were times even before shows in GSL last year where we were talking about, like, is he now just the best Zerg in Korea? Is this what's happened?
Yeah.
It was surprising. So both these guys, poor performances in GSL Season 1, RagnaroK not even qualifying, herO one of the first players eliminated, have something to prove here.
Yeah, this is going to be a fun one. Now, ooh, nice block. You know, let's remember that we had this weird style from herO that was just unlike anything that we had seen for a while, where he was staying very active with Stalkers and kind of outgrowing against the Zerg.
Yeah, the Stalker
Stalker. Yeah. I don't know if we're going to have it now.
This is so good. Nice 3 kills right there.
Yeah, only losing shields too. Nicely done. Uh-oh.
Oh, it looked like herO wanted to do a little changing of the guards right there, but he did it. Oh, the second one is also rallied in. It's not rallied to the wall, so now he's going to have to reactivate the Oracle here that is low on energy from killing drones, and the natural expansion of RagnaroK, and some probes for sure are going to fall. One goes down in the main base.
Yeah, and I think the Oracle's almost out of energy. He could just, you know, oh god, there's nothing more frustrating than when speedlings are in your base.
Oh, it's the worst feeling in the world.
And you try to make your probes turn an attack, and they just run away, and you're like, I hate this game.
I mean, this isn't game ending. I don't want to make this sound crazy, but it feels absolutely terrible, and especially at this stage in the game here for Protoss. This is generally what your build is still so tight. You want everything to be ironclad. You want to be hitting all of your timings so that you are perfectly prepared for the mid game. But you know, losing a probe there in the natural expansion, not too bad. It could have been way worse. But all of the mining time lost, losing those early adepts, now you have to remake units to actually clog those walls in that you can't have roaming around the map doing other tasks. Losing all this energy on the Oracle, suddenly it's a less useful tool for harassment. It hurts a lot. And herO, he had to make a couple of other adepts because he didn't know how much RagnaroK was really committing there. So a bit of an awkward position here for herO. Game's not over by any means, but that was a nice start for RagnaroK. Love that run by him.
Yeah, no, it's impressive to see. And that stuff does add up. Even if not that many workers are killed, just stopping workers from mining for a little bit, it hiccups everything that kind of comes out after that. So we're having Blink come down here, +1 attack. The Protoss is playing a very, very standard game. We won't see any attacks here from the Protoss other than maybe like a poke with the Oracles like we're seeing now. Is he going to be able to force this hatch to cancel? Whenever you see them attack the hatch like this, I'm like, oh, you have to exactly know if you can do this or not.
I think it's close. He actually is going to force the cancel. Oh, and he gets the drone.
Nice.
Yeah, very well done. Those queens just a little bit too slow. Yeah, it's hard to do the math in your head when you see a hatchery that's
also like it's like once you start it, you're like, we have to just like commit to this. Like, are we going to actually get rid of this thing or not?
Yeah, the 24 energy cost of starting that back up again is expensive. And 4 more gateways underway here for herO. And with 3 Oracles in total on the field, we might see something a little bit, you know, reminiscent of what we had from him once he returned from military service with Blink Stalkers and Oracles and +1 ground weapons. Oh, actually nice. He caught those queens. They're the natural expansion. Going to be a little bit annoying here for RagnaroK to deal with that.
Yeah, that is nicely done. A little bit of a stun, a little bit of a trip up there. It's going to be necessary for herO to continue to have those kind of moments. Okay, now Stalker Blink's done. So we're going to go into that Oracle Stalker style we were talking about. I was wondering, I knew he had some for defense, but I was wondering, is he actually going to be aggressive with this? And again, Zergs didn't really know how to deal with this when herO was dominating last year. So the question now is, what do they have in store for us here?
Whoa, Fleet Beacon now in production taste is behind this.
Wow.
This is not the transition I expected. Now, RagnaroK's going to try and come in and get us around. Some nice stasis wards are able to catch about a dozen lings, taking a lot of the DPS off this Zerg army. herO would love to deny this hatchery yet again. And I think there's only 1 Stargate back at home. So this, okay, second Stargate in production. Oh, I can't wait to see what herO decides to produce out of this.
This is really interesting.
I love this stasis ward too. Look at that, it's like a force field.
It's so good. Yeah, it's funny because it's literally making like this ring around them that is actually making the Lings have a much harder time trying to surround. Now, he's done some decent damage with the Stalkers, but he's not reinforced with the Stalkers. The supply's gone up, army supply, but I don't see where that has actually been poured into. It must be back at home.
All right, Stargates are done. +1 air weapons is begun here. RagnaroK, it seems like he did scout that Fleet Beacon at some point. Not sure exactly what the units of choice are going to be. The way that herO is waiting makes me think that this might be carriers, but as of yet, nothing started. And yeah, here we go. Carrier number 1 in production. So it's going to be a very early carrier transition here for herO behind Blink Stalker Oracle.
Yeah.
And, oh, that's so many charge zealots. That's where all the army supply is, Tasteless.
That's right. So he's going to come in here. It's going to be like a 1-2 punch. The charge lots are actually down here at the bottom. I'm sorry, where's this relative to the Stalkers? Stalkers are up here at the top. This is kind of a funny interaction. I don't know if this is even good or bad right now. It looks like the Zealots are actually overcoming the Roaches. The Stalkers are still being microed up here in this fight.
Oh my goodness, look at these stasis wards too, just continuously catching massive groups of Zerg units as another flood of Links come in. Now some drones are going down to the natural expansion. Would love to see herO send some of those Zealots over there to the 4th base.
This is wild, man.
And herO now blinking in to the 3rd. There's more than a dozen drones going down.
This is insane. Can he just blink up into the main now?
Oh, this is a crazy play here from herO. He is so active on the map.
And he just recalls it. So that was pretty good. That was a lot of damage that was dealt. And then he has carriers.
Yeah,
What is happening?
This is nuts. 2 more carriers in production.
This
so the
game is a fever dream. I don't know what's going on right now.
I mean, RagnaroK has to be really thrown off his game. This is the most active I have seen a small group of Stalkers with 3 Oracles at all, even from a player like herO. And now coming in like this, there's only 1 queen on the map, Tasteless. There's no other anti-air. There's literally no queens. Hydralisk Den only about halfway done. What is the answer? This hatchery's going down. RagnaroK decides he has to go in for the counterattack. Oracle's still with enough energy. They're going to start focusing down Ravagers. Bios do pop on the overcharged battery, but the arc of Stalkers, especially with a Photon Cannon, might be enough to hold. Carrier reinforcing. I think herO's won. Game 1.
Dude, that
what
was
a
so
sick game.
cool, man. Oh my God. That was different. I don't even know what to say. Also,
man.
to see the Zealots like completely on their own, I mean, it's a very different way to engage the Zerg, right? It's one thing to be like, okay, I'm gonna blink a lot. I'm gonna set up these stasis wards. herO, by the way, looks like he lost the game even though he won. It is so interesting to see. He's like, no, we're gonna fraction off the Zealots. We're gonna fracture them and send them on their own and do that. And then we're gonna have the Stalkers come back, and then we're gonna have the carriers come out. Just, it's such a different take on it. RagnaroK looking like he's in trouble right now.
I gotta say, if you're a Protoss player watching this and you have not subscribed to the Patreon or like done balloons, I don't know what's gonna convince you to get a replay pack other than a game like that one.
Game sells itself,
Absolutely
man.
crazy.
GSL Season 2. Mystery Gaming, RagnaroK. DKZ Gaming, herO.
God, I'm still reeling from how insane that last game was by herO. There was not a moment after he took his 3rd base where the action didn't stop. It was just, it was nonstop action. The Stalkers blinking from the 3rd base into the main base, back into the 3rd base. There were like 4 stasis wards that popped, maybe even more than that, that connected with 10+ supply of Zerg units. How often do we see that? Very rarely, I feel like.
It's just such a different way of engaging with the Zerg. Like, it's such a fun... I've always liked when herO does that, and I remember when I saw him do it, I'm like, okay, either this is, like, really good and maybe the right way to play the game, or this is just so weird that the other players don't know what's going on. But to see him do it again is really exciting.
So cool from herO. Love to see it. I'm keeping my eye now on this pro moving down to the bottom left corner of the map as well.
Yeah.
I think herO might have on his mind something sneaky planned
Is he a bad
with his
person?
pro. He is
He's
a
bad person.
You know, he's a Protoss player. He gets a pass. They've had a hard time. You got to do anything, man. Like,
he's a bad person, or his Protoss players called him good person.
It's like Les Miserables. He's like robbing bread to steal his family. Like, he doesn't deserve whatever punishment he's gonna get for this. Like, if karma exists, it's gonna give him a pass. We need a Protoss advancing to the quarterfinals. I mean, that's just the truth of it, right?
Wow, dude, that is so early.
Oh, it's another gateway too.
Okay, that's funny because I was like, well, maybe it's like a Stargate, but another gate?
Yeah, I was curious because he was not rallying very rapidly into the gas, which is what you would expect to see if it was a Stargate. So it's like, okay, maybe a Robo, but also that's such a big commitment because it's going to die, right?
Yeah.
And so for this to be a gateway, I wonder exactly what herO's going to do. I mean, maybe you bank a couple more Adepts and you just kind of come in at a time that Zerg's not anticipating it, maybe before Zergling speed is done.
Dude, this is like Dinosaur that's by this. I keep thinking it's getting scouted.
Oh, it is going to get scouted, Tasteless. The Ling's coming in.
The Dinosaur told him.
Yeah, it tipped him off.
He's like, Proxy. Proxy's mouth is opened up. Proxy game.
He's chirping. He's chirping.
No brain, just rush.
No brain, just rush. Is that what you said?
no, he's accosting around. He's like, no skill. Afraid of late game.
Artosis.
The can't back throws.
Artosis
is right down there.
He's reincarnated.
That's the Artosis
GSL.
dinosaur. Calling him out. Afraid of my late game.
No, dinosaurs are really just big birds, too. So it kind of does look like Dan.
Artosis has always been very bird-like.
Yeah, if he's a Sesame Street character, he's Big Bird. All right, so 2 Adepts coming into the natural
he's Beaker
expansion.
for sure, but yeah.
Yeah, you're right. All right, this is getting some damage. 3 drones already. Some Adepts are getting traded off. Now, the Stargate is going to be able to pump out at least 1 Oracle. Oh, no, the wall in! It's not done. I'm getting flashbacks to game number 1 here as the Lings actually kind of botched this around, so it's not as dramatic as it could have been. Only 4 of them going to get in. Very low on HP. Finally, the pylon will go down, but I think 1 Oracle, yes, 1 Oracle is on the field.
Oh my God.
Some hard attacks in these games.
Yeah, this is quite the game, man. I mean,
you got to give the edge to RagnaroK, though. Catching the proxy
100%.
like that, a gateway and a Stargate.
I kind of bummed out. I wanted to see what the rush would look like because, you know, it's a very unusual time to have a rush that comes out that's like that. But, you know, props to RagnaroK.
Yeah, he's doing well, feeling comfortable enough to just continue to drone. Behind this, Spore Crawler's going down, even though he knows it's only 1 Oracle on the field. And the transition from herO is going to be Robo Twilight back at home, 1 more gateway being added. Probably pivoting to take another 3rd base. As things are going to start to calm down a little bit here. It's been a crazy couple of minutes. I got to say, like, you know, the final moments of game number 1 and then this wild opening here in game number 2 by herO. Oh, what? Templar Archive coming down.
Yeah, this is interesting.
Huh.
And a Warp Prism. So, I mean, that usually telegraphs that he's going to be attacking.
4 more gateways too in charge as well. Is this going to be a Zealot Archon timing on 2 bases?
I think so. Now, keep in mind, this is like the plan B, right?
Of
I
course.
mean, basically, you go into this expecting the rush to work. When it backfires, you have to cobble together something. How good is it going to be? I'm not sure, but I did not expect anything to become activated this quickly. I kind of imagined he was going to get a 3rd base and just sort of play, frankly, kind of a boring game, but this is very different.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. You know, Robo and whenever I see a Robo in a Twilight Council in a position like that one, I'm like, okay, it's going to be Blink, an Observer, a Warp Prism. We're going to take a 3rd base.
Yeah.
But instead, Templar are coming out. I don't think Storm is in production, so yeah, they're being morphed into Archon. It's going to be an Archon drop. And maybe herO was hoping that RagnaroK would be sticking on Lings a little bit more than he's opting to do, because now that the Roach Warren is done and RagnaroK has a good amount of minerals and gas saved up, you have to think that's going to be the transition here. And without a lot of splash damage, like Disruptors, for example, or without a healthy number of Oracles, a Roach Ravager timing with +1 melee attack Lings could be deadly on this 3rd base here for herO.
Oh, that's a lot of Lings, man.
Yeah, that's going to get canceled.
Yeah, it's so funny, too, because you see the Stalker, like, in the Adept wedge, and they're like, we have a surface area. And they're like, we don't care. We're going to kill the Nexus.
Yeah, this attack's coming in. The Zealots will get traded out. The Archons are going to have to phase back into that Warp Prism and escape. We'll get that Queen. Get 2 Queens. Oh. Finally.
Nice.
Some nice value there. herO needs a lot of wins like that because he's still sitting on 2 bases and he's pumping Zealots. And if I'm RagnaroK right now and I'm seeing herO pumping Zealots, knowing that I'm already on Roaches, it's like, okay, he really doesn't have a lot of tools in his belt to deal with what I've got. I think a Roach Ravager timing is probably in the cards here.
You know, I'm starting to think that RagnaroK is just going to continue to catapult ahead. This is looking really bad right now for herO. He is going to start that 3rd Nexus. It's pretty late, but you know, now is better late than never. And the Archons haven't, I mean, they've gotten some queens, which is good, but I mean, RagnaroK does seem to just, if you look at the army supply, it's 64 to 37, so it's like he's almost doubled it.
Yeah, herO is in production here for RagnaroK, or for herO, excuse me, and RagnaroK so smart, actually going for a Spire. And this could just be him trying to find a permanent solution to the Warp Prism and the Oracle that are on the map right now. But this could also be him anticipating that the follow-up from herO is naturally going to be disruptors to deal with what would almost otherwise inevitably be a Roach timing, right? So, nice play here from RagnaroK. I'm liking what we're seeing from him so far here in game number 2.
Now, the truth is that, like, you know, we thought this was going to be some kind of a cool timing attack, and it was. It didn't really do much of anything. It's kind of turned into instead like a Warp Prism harass build. It's going to be a difficult next phase of this game, no doubt, for herO. But it'll probably really come down to, can he weather the storm and eventually get to the tech and the army setup that he needs, and if RagnaroK can muster the army that could just clobber herO and end the game. That's kind of what we want to look for from here on out.
I feel like RagnaroK's army almost definitely should be able to take this on, but herO with so much confidence actually moving out in the middle of the map. There's only one disruptor with this, one more reinforcing. Perhaps herO thinks he has to start to chip away at this Roach count, if at all possible. Warp Prism. Watching that to see if he tries to do any micro with a disruptor. No connection there. Disruptor is going to work its way back. I can't believe herO's actually pushing this so hard. I thought for sure he would be on the defensive.
Yeah, he's going to try to loop back around here from the bottom.
I suppose with the creep spread as weak as it is in the middle of the field, that does give herO some room to maneuver.
I'm actually glad you pointed that out, State, because I almost wasn't really even following that for a little bit. Yeah, the creep spread is pretty abysmal.
Oh! Nice attempt there. First Warp Prism, excuse me. First Disruptor did have to get it lifted up before it could connect to survive, but a couple of Roaches going down. herO finding any damage that he can, and now the Blink is done. Should be able to chase down some of these Roaches. Oh, try to set up a flank maybe. Those Warp Prisms. Disruptors, excuse me, I keep calling them Warp Prisms. They should be off cooldown very soon, but oh no, they get picked off on the ground.
There's another one here in the back. He needs to figure out where is the angle he can actually plant that Disruptor, get the shot.
Oh, nice hit.
Beautifully done. Is there enough bulk actually here for herO? He's got some good shots off, but it just seems more and more like there might, no, there is, okay.
Wow.
I looked like for a second the Roaches were gonna collapse onto that. You know, you need to have, excuse me, you need to have good disruptor shots, but you also need to have the meat, the kind of the padding of that army, the Archons and the Stalkers to clean up the rest. It looks like he's got that. And this is going to be miraculous if he can actually pull through here. Another insane connection.
And insane connections on both sides.
Yeah.
herO's just finding value after value with these disruptor hits, and what
18
looked
mutas.
like
18 mutas on the way.
That's where the army supply is. I was wondering because RagnaroK's supply has just been at 140 for the longest amount of time. It hasn't really been coming up, but now the Muta switch in full swing, and herO's going to have to find a solution to this very quickly. Right now he has 23 Stalkers with +1 ground weapons, +2 ground weapons about to finish. The Disruptors are able to recall out, but is herO going to go for an attack, or is he just going to try and defend back at home? I think the window perhaps to go for a base trade has passed. herO has to be on the defensive, but we've seen Mutas when they get to positions like this, 20+ on the field, I mean, things just start to melt before them, whether it be Stalkers, Photon Cannons, anything else. This is suddenly a very scary position here for herO because he no longer has map control, and RagnaroK can kind of go unchecked back at home while harassing him.
And the problem is the Mutas haven't really done a lot.
Not yet.
And the way I always see situations like this is if the Mutas haven't done a lot right away, they're not going to do a lot later on. You know what I mean?
You say that, but we're about to get up to 33 Mutas. When you get to counts like that, they can start to trade with Stalkers like this, especially with Lings coming in here like so. I mean, these Stalkers trading out with Mutas. Right now, there are more Mutas on the field than Stalkers in total, so we can come into the main base here. That warp, these shield batteries and Photon Cannons will not be enough. They'll just buy a little bit of time. And now probes are starting to fall, and with even more Mutas in production, I mean, just keep in mind,
this is wild,
the
man.
damage output that we've seen from these are unupgraded as of yet. +1 air weapons is going to finish soon. And things are going to get really scary here for herO. RagnaroK right now at 200 supply.
Yeah, this is a wild game. I never really expected this is going to be just mass air. I guess if you don't have any Phoenixes, oh my God, the Mutas can just come in here and snipe down these Disruptors.
Yeah, the Muta's just so mobile, able to run circles around the Stalker Ball here of herO, and even in a straight-up fight, I think RagnaroK might be able to take this, and yeah, he's going to commit to it. These Stalkers getting belted.
Well, there's
on the
so
front
many more
line.
Stalkers coming. Is there any end to this number of Stalkers? This is wild, man. Oh my God.
6 more Stalkers getting warped in. herO just trying desperately to stabilize here.
Can he just go try to kill him?
I don't think herO can win a base trade against this. Not with RagnaroK's economy as powerful as it is. I mean, herO's infrastructure back at home will just get eliminated so quickly, and RagnaroK can hide structures all across the map. And even these Mutas can handle small forces of Stalkers like this. But Tasteless, I think you're right. That's what herO thinks his win condition is to go for the base trade. Let's see how it pans out.
This is crazy, man. Back at home, by the way, not much is being made. I see like a cannon. I think that we're about to see herO die out. But the Muta switch, I mean, that was super cool.
Yeah, the Muta is just so powerful now. +1 air weapons is completed for them, and they are shredding through these Stalkers, especially with the Lings on the ground. GG is called. We're all tied up 1-1 here in the Group B elimination match. After some insane games so far, easily my favorite series of the night, and we're only done with game 2.
Yeah, I mean, it could go either way. Let's not forget how it started. It did start with a proxy I've never actually seen before. I've never casted that. And I don't know if I ever will again, because I don't know how many more PVZs we're going to have here. And obviously, that's not a build that you can recycle back into a best of 3, right?
No.
But the fact that he shut down the proxy, it was Gateway and Stargate, right?
Yeah, it was a Gateway and then a Stargate, yeah.
So the fact that he shut that down, that kind of led to an obtuse mid-game that RagnaroK fought well in and, closed that out with mass Mutas. So that's going to be it, guys. This is the last map with these two. One of these guys is out. The other one goes on against Nightmare. Let's find out who it is.
2023 GSL Season 2. Mystery Gaming, RagnaroK. DKZ Gaming, herO.
Okay, so he's going to block that first hatchery.
Timing so good there. RagnaroK with 295 minerals.
Yeah, it gets there right when it needs to be there. Really cool to see RagnaroK recover that game. It's funny, the Muta play worked. It seemed like it might not, but one thing about when you get that many Mutas, there's no way for the Protoss to also be attacking on your side of the map.
Yeah, you just can't win a base trade. The Mutas are too efficient moving across the map, and especially with Glaives, they can take down buildings surprisingly quickly.
Yeah, and also, you can recall, you can blink, you can do all that, but the Mutas are going to be killing workers and infrastructure on the way, so it was a really smart move there.
And keep in mind that RagnaroK, he threw down that Spire quite early in that game, minutes before he actually did the full Muta switch, and I thought that was such a smart decision by him, knowing that herO was going to have to go into Disruptors to defend against a Roach Ravager timing that he wouldn't otherwise have an answer to.
Right.
As Protoss, you're forced really into that tech given how poorly the early game went. You don't have any Oracles. Your third base got canceled at, halfway done. It's extremely late. You have Gateway units with very delayed Twilight Council upgrades. Disruptor is really the only solution to the Roach Ravager, so RagnaroK kind of preempted that. It's like, okay, I'm not even going to go for the timing. I'll kill whatever your counter is to the timing. And then he just waits for the perfect moment. He waits for herO to truly commit to a lot of Disruptors on the field. And then once he feels like, okay, now I have enough of a resource bank, now my economy's strong enough, I can pump 18 Mutas at a time and just put you on the back foot, he does it, and herO has no answer. I mean, from that point on, herO never really passed 140 supply again. It was just
exactly
a disaster from his position.
So, excuse me. So, You know, in this game, we've got the Stargate coming down here. It did end up being one of these games that was kind of like, or this could have been one of these games that was kind of like Game 1. Game 1, I think we really got to see herO and how brilliant he is and how he kind of sees this whole matchup in a way that nobody in the world was quite looking at it like that. And again, we've got some very good Zergs in Korea, you know, for a long time that have just, you know, kind of dictated this matchup and made it look so difficult to play. But herO's come out and is continuing on with that style that he's birthed, and proving how effective it is by you know, kind of, think of it as like the nimble Protoss. You know, it's all about blinking and setting up traps with the oracles and being mobile and reconfiguring your position. And when you see an opportunity, you can go in and you can get the kills and get the damage. And the moment it gets uncomfortable or it gets dicey, you get right back out.
Yeah, it's very fun to see, and I think we might have a little bit more of that here in game number 3. Is, if I'm not mistaken, that is the second or third oracle in production here for herO. So leading quite heavily back into that Stargate play, adding gateways back at home. Would not be surprised to see him throw Nexus out, as this oracle taking a surprising amount of damage, all the way down to 25 HP. I'm just watching the production tab, and yeah, okay, so third oracle is in production. So keep in mind, that was the oracle count that we went up to in the previous game, or game 1, I should say, where we did see, as you said, the nimble toss, this blink stalker oracle style that we saw from herO work so well, with a surprising twist in game 1, I have to say. I was not anticipating the carrier follow-up. It felt like something I would see like a Brood War game or something.
You know, I was kind of thinking the same thing. I'm like, really? You're going to just tech into carriers and snowball it?
But when the carriers got out on the side of the map, there was one queen, and the queen just dies. Hydralisk Den was halfway done.
It was crazy. Well, also, you know, normally losing queens here and there in rushes and pushes is unremarkable, right? We see it all the time. But then when the carriers come, you're like, oh, you don't have anything to fight this now. Now the carriers just close the game out.
All right, oracle's coming in. This one dangerously low. Should get taken out as herO's deciding to sacrifice that one to take down some additional drones. 4 in total falling as the Sport Crawler's a little bit late here for RagnaroK. Yeah, herO just going right back into that third oracle. As soon as one dies, he's like, nope, that's not the count I want. I need 3, not 2. I need to have enough energy for the stasis wards. The little plasma beams to protect my stalkers, and Blink +1 already underway, so looking very similar to the style we saw in game number 1.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised at all. I think herO looks at, you know, what happened in game 1 and how much he dunked on RagnaroK. It says, yeah, why would I even, you know, it's fine to try that proxy, but like, why make it hard for yourself? If you can win just in a straight up game, just do that. You know?
Absolutely, and I also love these little maneuvers here by herO. Knows that he killed some drones in the main base and some drones in the natural expansion, and so the odds of RagnaroK transferring a couple of drones for the third base is pretty high, so he swipes in between the natural and the third. Unfortunately, missed the rally, so wasn't able to catch any, but you're going to see how well he understands the game. Oh, even picking off a queen here, just finding so much value here with these oracles. And he's so good also at just navigating exactly how much damage he can truly sustain on these units, because he's trading mostly shields, a little bit of hull for drones, for queens, for idle mining time from his opponent, and it's such a treat to see.
We've had a lot of drone kills with the oracles, by the way.
Yeah.
What am I looking at?
I think herO.
I think it's like he's trying to stack these, but they just refuse to bunch up, so they're pushing each other out of the way and into the range of the queens.
I think he thought he put them all the way in the corner. It might have misclicked and just had them a little bit short.
The bottom of the map clicking down there is kind of weird.
Yeah, it's always,
like
it's always weird.
Stays, it's like how much room is actually down there.
I think it's like the delete key that can rotate the camera. We could really get in the corner, and
yeah, or
is it page up, or
am I crazy? Yeah,
maybe it is.
Yeah. Me and Tosis had a joke a long time ago about like the one pro gamer who like plays like with a rock on top of that key and is like really good at only seeing the game at a different angle. Like,
I remember way back in the day when I played when I used to stream StarCraft 2, sometimes I would play fully zoomed in and all right, hold that thought.
So
Actually,
funny.
is RagnaroK here was going for a very cheeky. That was like what, 10, 12 banelings
That
morphing
was
in.
a bit cavalier to make that out there. I just want to point out, we saw him lose to ByuN for the same situation. He morphs banelings too close.
Yeah, look at this, by the way. herO right here on the Zelonga Watchtower, setting up a gateway and a pylon. So there's going to be a fast reinforcement point without a warp prism, which means there's going to be even more units here for herO. And RagnaroK coming in from the flank is able to get a nice surround, but there are these 3 oracles here, so the Lings, they're just getting mopped up on the floor. 5 more stalkers coming in to reinforce. This could quickly snowball out of control for the Zerg.
There's a lot of Lings coming in here. He's not quite able to get that surface area.
Oh, yeah, this is not looking quite as good for herO here. The Link's getting a nice surround. The Oracle's quite low on energy, in fact, as the trade is a lot more even than herO would have liked.
He's even swinging them around in the front, trying to just get them to soak up some extra damage. You know, there might actually be enough Stalkers. Hold on a second.
I think herO's going to win this battle, but RagnaroK, with a lot of reinforcements coming, should be able to stabilize this game. It might be hanging on a thread, actually, with that Link forward, picking off one more Queen. Might even be able to get the other one, as Roaches now. The rally has come in. 16 Roaches in total on the field. A lot of Lings are needed here for RagnaroK. I want to see that production tab and see how many are coming out. 20, it seems, in total, but I think there's +1 ground weapons here. And herO, he's so smart. He knows right now Roaches are not the threat. So he does one round warp in of Zealots.
Yeah,
those are going to
so
2-shot the Lings instead of 3-shot them with +1 ground weapons.
He's big braining it, for sure, man.
Those Lings already cleaned up. Now it's just Roaches. herO might have too much.
Yeah, I think this is the tipping point. I think we're going to have a rematch.
Wow.
A PvP coming up next.
herO playing this one so well. Even with a suboptimal engagement, he's just able to ride the momentum and make some killer calls, as RagnaroK's still doing everything in his power to fight back. Army supply is still in RagnaroK's favor, but keep in mind that is mostly here in Roaches, and these Stalkers are doing such a good job
God,
of whittling
so
them down constantly.
back
Yeah, it's basically a gateway all-in at this point. 21 Stalkers in total. That's it, GG. herO's going to advance to the final match.
Hell yes, PvP.
What a series here between herO and RagnaroK.
herO, again, still looks like he lost the game when we put him on camera.
I mean, you can tell the pressure is really high on him right now.
You know, I mean, he's really having to work. But, hey, he brought out that PvC style that I think we're all in love with. You know, just kind of eking out that damage, taking fights where he can, using those oracles to chew up the Lings and soften the defense and lay traps. RagnaroK's out, man. I mean, you know, this is a guy who, over the course of 4 years, we saw develop into a titan of Zerg. But this year is not his. Guys, short break. Coming up next, Nightmare vs. herO, the rematch to see who goes on to the round of 8.